Yeah. I know in like your videos and based off our conversations, you talked about not needing the prong collar, which I didn't end up using. I feel pretty confident with this, but can we still use this as like our tool to walk him, or do you suggest something else?
Well, once the e-collar kicks in, like you're probably not going to need that.
Need that? Okay.
Yeah. I don't mind in the beginning, I'm assuming you're doing it to get more control, correct?
Yeah, he has a tendency to jump. He doesn't do it probably in the past few weeks, but he'll jump really high when he sees another dog, and even with the harness, it wasn't.
Yeah, harness is going to be the worst thing you're going to put on him.
Yeah.
So if you want to have that for like the first week or two or whatever, I mean, I don't care what you use, but the main source of control is going to be the remote collar.
Okay.
And you may progress to a point where confidence-wise, you're like, yeah, I don't even do this anymore.
Okay.
And it's just flat collar with e-collar.
And I'm sure he would love that.
Anything else?
No.
All right. So let's go ahead. Let's get our remote ready. And what's your number at currently?
25.
Okay. Let's go down. Have you used it at all?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
For like just getting the number, or like for any training at all?
For both. Initially getting the number, and then training. We did a little training in Baltimore, and then these past few days we've been at the park across the street.
Okay, so on the leash stuff, like the healing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I suck at.
Okay.
Need help with that.
No, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. Okay. So what we're gonna do is, so let's go ahead and do a tap on that 25, because I'm assuming that's what you thought was a working level, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what like got his attention.
Okay. Go ahead and tap, tap, tap. Okay. So you see how there's no response here?
Yeah.
Go to 30. Tap, tap, there, tap. See this movement?
Yeah.
So on 25, nothing.
Yeah.
See the scary nothing. On 30, it's moving around.
Yeah.
That's how you know that he has working level.
Okay.
And that's the starting point now. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is the leash walking exercise. So let's reiterate it.
Okay.
Whenever Wilbur passes you, when I say turn, you're gonna make a 180 turn directly to your right. When I say turn, just like this. Okay.
Whenever he passes.
Whenever he passes, and I say turn.
Okay.
So Wilbur goes like this. You're gonna, I say turn. You're gonna 180 immediately to your right. He passes like that. Okay. Now when you're doing that, I'm also gonna be saying, I'll say turn, and I'm gonna start saying tap. Okay. When I say tap, it means press that button.
Okay.
So it's gonna be like tap, 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 or tap, 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 tap. Okay. So what I'm saying is your rhythm.
Okay.
Right. So like I'll be saying tap, 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 and the owner's like. All right.
Okay.
Now you want to be very rapid fire. That's what I'm saying. Okay. You do want to have the leash nice and slack. So what we're gonna do is what are those clips? Is that like an extender leash?
This is like for rock climbing with your dog. I don't know.
I don't do rock climbing lessons.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
so
that's fine.
I do.
There you go.
Do you?
I was a certified instructor for high rope rock climbing.
Yeah.
Dream team right here.
Do dogs?
No,
Well, there's
that'd be a first.
That's the thing, okay? So what I'm going to have you do is go ahead and just step up so you're next to Wilbur here, okay? And you're going to shorten your leash. You're going to grab it about where the orange square is, okay? And it may be easiest to have the leash in one hand and the remote in the other. I'm not a big fan at the moment with the remote at your because it's going to be really awkward. You want to be nice and relaxed, okay? So now relax. There you go. Relax. And you're going to be pressing that bumpy button, of course. Okay. So whenever I say the word tap, this looks pretty good. So you see where how there's like a little loop in your leash there, and it's by its armpit. So relax your leash.
Yeah.
So you see how there's like a little loop there? Yeah, that's J, exactly. So you see the bottom of the J right by his armpit?
Yeah.
That's like the perfect loose thing. Okay? Because if it's any looser than that and it's down on the ground, it's going to step over and you're going to get tangled up. Okay? So having it right by the armpit prevents that from happening, but gives him enough leash to make mistakes. Okay? So instead of going forward here, what you're going to do is you're going to make an immediate, no, he's on your right side.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to turn inwards. That's outwards. That's inwards. There you go. And go ahead and right again. To your right. Turn to your right. Yeah, right. So to turn to your right.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. So you see how he's on your left now?
Yeah.
Now you're going to move forward. And pull to your left as you walk. Pull to your left. tap. There you go. Now relax. Let's go and bring that leash into our left hand and that remote to your right hand. We're going to teach him on your left side, okay? So make things easier. There you go. So he, you want him on your left side?
I haven't been to school in so long. This is like...
Yeah, that's kindergarten. All right, go ahead and relax. So go ahead and turn to your right. Forward, tap, 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 turn, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, tap, forward. Good. Relax. Keep forward. Right. Turn. Tap. Forward. Good. Relax. Turn. Tap. Tap. Keep forward. Turn. Tap. Tap. And you want to make a sharp turn, okay? You're doing a rounded turn. So relax those arms. Turn. Tap. There you go. Turn. Tap. Forward. Good. Relax. Turn, tap, forward. Turn, tap, tap. Pull to your left, tap, tap, tap. Keep forward. Here we go. Okay, keep forward, keep forward. Turn, tap. Let's go, you're at 30?
Yeah.
Let's go to 33.
33? Okay.
Turn, tap, forward. Turn, tap, tap, forward. There you go. Pull to your left, tap. Good. Relax. Good. Turn, tap, forward. Good. Keep forward, forward. Turn, tap, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap. Better. Keep forward, turn, tap, tap. Relax. Good. Turn, tap, forward, pull to your left, good job, relax, keep forward, turn, tap. We're going to go to 36. Better, forward, turn, tap, forward, turn, tap, pull to your left, good, relax, good, better, forward, relax your arms. Turn, tap, forward, pull to your left, tap, good. Turn, tap. Better. Keep relaxed. Turn, tap, forward. Keep forward, keep forward. There he goes. Turn, tap, tap. Keep forward, turn, tap, tap. Keep forward, turn, tap, tap. Keep forward, turn, tap, and we're going to go 38.
Okay.
Turn, tap, relax, better, that's better, turn, tap, yep, it's okay, keep moving, you got it, good, turn, tap, forward, good, now you can do a slow turn here. Yep, slow turn, keep forward. Good, now slow walk. Slower. And stop. Very good.
So stressful.
What?
It's like, I'm the one messing up all these times.
Well, I mean, you're not a dog trainer,
yeah.
right? You see how we got the working number as a baseline, and then we went 33, 36, 38. And then now we started to lock in.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously it's being able to recognize just how much to go up, because I could have went 40 or something, but instead I was like 36 to 38, and 38 got like made a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay. So people tend to think like just punish, punish, punish. You know, like they usually think it's like you just slam the dog, and it's actually very nuanced.
Yeah.
And it's knowing or learning how to read those nuances to get it to be this effective just quickly. Okay. So, do you know what you're doing here? Like how this works and why he was able to get it so quickly?
No.
Okay. So, most people tend to, when the dog forges, like I said earlier, they'll have a high number and they'll say no, and they'll punish the dog here. The dog jumps back, right? And the dog looks like, what was that for?
Yeah.
And the person will say heel, right? And they'll walk and the dog goes and boom, and they'll no, heel, right? And they keep doing that. And dogs get really frustrated because when they jump back, they look and they go, what was that for?
Yeah.
Okay? But if you're going in the same direction, the dog doesn't compute that. It's too much for them to understand.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, you know, if I'm walking with my friends or a friend and they get ahead of me, I can smack them upside the head. And then he's like, oh, like he'd probably attach, like, oh, because I got ahead of you, you know? Because we're humans.
It's every week.
It's every week, right?
Yeah.
We're built. Don't move so fast. But with dogs, you have to make it simpler. So for Wilbur, he feels this. He's like, I don't like this. He turns around. Mom's going that way. He catches up. It disappears. He passes you again. It kicks in. Now mom's going that way. He catches up. It disappears. Okay? So it's what I call the correct and redirect. We're correcting for going ahead of us, but we're redirecting and saying, hey, bud, I'm going this way.
Yeah.
Okay? And we just keep repeating that. And the reason why that gets better each time is because of the number. Okay? So if we still had it at 20 or 25, you're still doing this.
Yeah.
Okay? So the reason I knew how to go higher after a few reps was he was telling me what was correct. So after you turned around like 6 to 8 times, I go, okay, he's getting an idea.
Yeah.
But now it's not important enough for him to retain the idea and think like, you know, I don't want that to happen again. So what do I need to do to prevent that?
Yeah.
So I went to 33, then went to 36, and then 36 was better. But then 36 stopped working. Then went to 38, and then 38 starts to lock him in. Okay. So, and you can see the shaking here.
Yeah.
That's normal. Okay. Because this is a negative. Yeah. This is a stressor. Okay. So if I have an anxious, nervous, or fearful dog, it's not uncommon to see an escalation in that response because this is a stressor and that's a stress response. Okay.
Yeah.
They get over it. It actually helps build confidence, but you have to work them through it.
Okay.
If you stop and go like, oh man, bud, I'm sorry, you're shaking, and you always cap yourself, he never gets better.
Okay.
And like, so dogs toughen each other up through physicality. Like the puppies will like take the mom will take the puppies and like screw with them and like poke at them and nip at them, you know, to toughen them up. And that's what prepares them for life. But when we get dogs or puppies, we don't do that. So then they get weak. And then they can't handle things in life, you know? So here, like let's say, because it's reactivity, right? Dog reactivity and separation anxiety.
Yeah.
So those are stress responses. And here, by doing the physicality, one, you're putting rules to things, you're putting boundaries, you're putting consequence in a very non-confrontational manner. You're telling them this is what you're expected to do, and this is our foundation for everything. But this isn't what fixes the reactivity. It's actually all the remotive.
Okay.
It's all the like, whoa, what is that? Like that discomfort. Because that's your way of biting him.
Yeah.
Okay, so when he's going the wrong way, you're like bite, 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 and then he comes over here, you're like, good. Okay, then he goes back here and go bite, 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 bite. Good, right? So he's like, oh crap, mom has rules now. Okay, so that physicality with the remotes is actually what gets in his head. So then he's thinking like, one, mom's more important now. Mom's a greater stressor than the dog because if I don't listen to mom, I get bit.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then he has to rationalize and go, what's more stressful, this dog coming by me or me breaking out of position with mom? Right? And since you're connected to him, it's going to be you. Ideally, it's going to be you. And then we just got to work through it, right? So like right now, there's been 3 dogs. Okay. So I don't know if he has a threshold, or if any dog in any distance would set him off.
Not so much anymore, but like 3 weeks ago, yeah. A dog over in the street would set him off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So like what you want to do is keep an eye on if you get any reactivity. You want to find to see if there's any consistency. Is it dogs that lunge at him? You know, is it dogs that are just like excited puppy type energy?
Yeah.
Right? So once you know that stuff, then it makes it easier for you because then when you see that dog, you can already go into like, oh, I expect this to happen.
Yeah.
So you can be proactive about it. Okay. And I'll give you those steps as well.
Okay.
But this is the baseline for everything. And we might find that maybe you don't even see that reactivity anymore because now he's more worried about you.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how it's going to work out. Wilbur does.
Yeah.
Okay, questions?
No questions.
So we're going to go down to 32.
Okay.
So every time in the training stages, like right now, Wilbur was like processing everything that just happened.
Yeah.
That's not first. No, I think it's yeah. So his brain is literally processing everything that just happened. That he may be more sensitive to a lower number.
Okay.
So like you may find like, oh wow, like yeah, the first thing was 38, but then as I work with him, like his number became 24, and 24 is just as effective as 38. Okay, and don't get married to a number. Okay, don't get false hopes with a lower number because that can happen.
Yeah.
Because people make progress, the number goes lower, and then they'll have like the dog will regress because now the number's lower.
Yeah.
And then they don't want to go back up again because they got it to happen on the lower number. And I'll be telling them like, no, like you now escalate because your dog's not behaving. Okay. So Wilbur will tell you what is needed by his response. So if you're at 24 and everything's great, no separation anxiety, no reactivity and stuff, then I go 24. But if like you're struggling with reactivity and 38 is what we worked with before and 24 was what we ended up with and it came back, then I go, well then we got to go back up again. Okay. So we're going to do the same exercise.
Okay.
Go ahead and just move forward. Tap, tap, tap. Pull to your left. Tap, tap. Good. And relax. Go ahead and turn. Tap, tap. Good. Keep forward. Yep, the bike's coming. Keep forward. Turn. Tap, tap, tap. Good. Turn, tap, and let's go to 35. Yeah. Tap, forward. Relax. Turn, tap, tap. Good. Keep forward. Turn, tap. Slow walk, and keep forward. There you go. Go ahead and pick up your pace. Good. Slow walk, slow turn. Yep, you're good. Forward, pull to your left, tap, pick up your pace. Good. Better. Good. Slow walk to slow turn. Very good. And forward. Pull to your left. Tap. Good. Slow walk. Slower. Stop. Good. Are you yourself or Wilbur?
Wilbur.
Okay. So you see how he's matching your pace now?
Yeah.
Okay, and it was literally just that real simple exercise. And we went to 32, and then 32 wasn't so effective, then we went to 35. 35 seems to be working well, okay? So, do you know how I recognize that it's working well? Is I was having you change your pace. If Wilbur is paying attention, what should he be doing? Correct, you should be following your lead, right? The easiest way to tell that is by, if you're going at your normal pace, is slowing down. Okay, because if he's not paying attention and you slow down, what is he going to do? You pull. You go ahead of you, right? So that tells me not paying attention, so then I would turn tap to line them up with you, okay? So then, how I dictate when to go up is I have my 3 correction rule.
Okay.
So earlier when we were finding his working number, at 25 I said tap, tap, tap. There was no response. 3 taps. We bumped it. With 30, tap, got a response. Tap, got a response. Tap, got a response. Right? So there we didn't go up, but I was just testing, am I going to get consistent response each hit?
Yeah.
Okay? So now, when you're doing your turns, I'm doing a similar approach, except it's each individual turn and tap is a correction. So So if I don't get it by the third turn, I'm thinking bump it. Okay, so then I go up, and for a guy like him, it jumps to 3 to 5. Okay. And then if I see I bump it to 35 and all of a sudden he's locking on, then I go, okay, currently 35 is the right number, okay? So your number may change depending on what's going on within the environment. You know, right now, like Oz is, like this is actually quiet Oz, okay? Oz gets crazy busy. But like let's say you only train in like really quiet times, really great at really quiet times, and your number might be, 35. And then you go out at a busier time, like 5 or 7 when people are walking their dogs, and all of a sudden it's terrible, right? And maybe 35 isn't going to work, so you need a higher number to override everything that's going on within the environment, or you just need more practice within that environment. Okay? Now I can tell you this right now. Whenever I teach a dog a concept, okay, so if I had Wilbur and I train them, once I teach this concept, I can take them anywhere. And now you'll know because I know just all I need to do is fix the number. Okay. So if I went to a busier park right after this and he's being terrible, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Oh, there you are. Okay. Right? It's just finding the appropriate number for the environment. This concept is very, very simple. If I turn and I tap you, you're here, everything goes away. Okay? So dogs learn this very quickly. It's just a matter of getting the owner able to do that. Okay? When you're ready, forward. Turn. Tap. 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 Good. Forward. Watch that tail going up. Go ahead and step to the side there. Tap. 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 Turn towards me. Stop right there. Tap. Stop. Tap. 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 40. Tap. 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 45. Tap, 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 50, tap, 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 almost, tap, tap, might get a yip here, tap, almost, tap, tap, wait for it, lightly pull up on your leash. Yep, and so up a little bit more. Now tap, tap, tap. That's okay. There you go. And look at him. All right. So, do you know why all that happened?
No. Take me through it.
The dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Right. So when you saw the dog, I saw the tail go straight up. Yeah. Okay. And so I said, step aside. Didn't matter where. Okay. And I was trying to get you to get him to disengage because he was still on the dog, his tail was still up. So 35 didn't work, 40 didn't work, 45 right where it was now? 50. And I said, we're probably going to get a yip here. Okay? And on that third 50, yip, but then, boom. Okay? So, don't take sound or yelp as discomfort or pain. Okay? It can also be surprise. It can be the brain finally is breaking and like it's like kind of like frustration based, or like just like kind of crack through that block that there was like oh shit, right? And he sits down, but don't think of always pain or discomfort, okay? Because if you think that way, it's going to work against you, right? Your primary concern is to get him to just behave himself. Ideally, we don't want that, okay? But it doesn't always work that way. And that's why we do this system. We went from 35 to 40 to 45 to 50 before he complies. Remember, he's choosing this, okay? So he's going, hey, I know I can feel the remote, but staring at this dog is really rewarding or whatever it is, right? And you're going, nope, it's not. And you're trying to find that breaking point, trying to find that number. It's like, you're gonna give me what I want, right? So on that third hit, he finally gave it up, like, oh, okay, he put that butt down. And that's exactly what I was trying to get him to do, okay? And now you see all the shaking here, right? Because now you've broken or overrode his brain, is that stress has to go somewhere, okay? Shaking, right? It's all, we call it detoxing, it's completely normal. So like you might find when you see another instance of a dog like that, is you'll be stepped aside and he's gonna be shaking like crazy, okay? So what was lunging at the hind feet or whatever before, has to go somewhere else. You're gonna get shaky.
Okay.
You might get whiny. You might start panting. You know, you might like your eyes might bulge.
Yeah.
It's a stress response. Okay. But what we're doing here is we're saying you're no longer allowed. We have 4 responses. We have fight, flight, avoid, submission.
Okay.
Reactivity is a fight response. Okay. I guess I categorize that one. So if we remove that one, he has avoidance, flight, or submission. Okay. So you might see him when the dog comes, like he might come around like this. Okay. And the dog walks this way, and he's shaking like crazy. Right. But instead of lunging and barking, he's going, yeah, I'm gonna pretend that dog's not there.
Yeah.
Okay. And you go, yeah, we would have revoked this. Okay. I don't care what he does, just don't lunge and bark.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
You're making it super simple. I mean, you might have another distraction here. So what you're going to do is going to step so that he's on your left side. And you're going to be facing this way. Let's go ahead and go back down and go to 35. You're going to do a light pull up on your leash and tap. Light, keep it up. Tension, tap, tap, tap. More tension, tap, tap, tap. 40. Tap, tap, almost tap. There it is. And relax. There you go. So his tail went up again. See that? But it didn't go up as high as the first time. The first time it was straight up.
Yeah.
This time it was like maybe a little bit more than back level.
Okay.
Now the other thing I'm going to tell you is, did you see how you're up here?
Yeah.
Okay. Is the closer you grab your leash by his collar, the more immediate leverage you have. Okay. So go ahead and slide that left hand up a bit, like where that clip is. Yeah, just below it, right there. Now pull up. You see how much more immediate that is? Okay. Now grab a little bit closer. Now pull up. There you go. See how more immediate that is. Okay. So now we're going to go into handling skills. Because we have training him, then have training you. Okay. As you can see, he's the easy part. Right?
Yeah.
Because I already know how to train dogs. Now I got to train you to be like a version of me, essentially.
Okay.
Is when we see something potentially going to happen,
Okay.
what you want to do is you want to step aside like you did here. Okay. You might read stuff on the internet that says don't do that. They're wrong. Okay. You're going to step aside.
Okay.
You're going to shorten your leash, and you would right away with that left hand get real close to that gentle leader,
Okay.
so that when you pull up, you're not like this.
Yeah.
Okay. With one hand, you're here, so that leaves this hand open to do any adjusting if needed.
Okay.
So had all that been a little bit more quicker, his butt ideally would have already been down,
Got it.
and the dog would have already been passing. We wouldn't even see anything. Okay. Questions?
So when we're on our walk and we're taking our PT and stuff, and we're not working on the exercise, so if I see that distraction coming, just pull them aside right away, stop whatever I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah. If you're thinking like, hey, this might be a problem,
Yeah.
because you know Wilbur better than I do.
Yeah.
Okay. Or if you think I'm not too sure how he's going to behave himself, it's always best to assume the worst
Okay.
and prepare for it. Okay. So I just step aside, and like, let's say if this was a standard sidewalk, and like this would be the curb and that was the street, I'd be right here at the curb, and we're always facing in.
Okay.
Okay. We don't face the other way,
Okay.
because what you're doing is saying, hey, we're Chicago,
Yeah.
and we're going to see dogs.
All the time.
Okay. So what are you going to do about it, right? So then when you step aside and here, lightly pull up, tap, tap, and relax. I don't want you to think that we're using sit to fix the problem.
Okay.
Okay, because this isn't sit. Did you say sit?
No.
Right? What you told them was relax. Okay, this is a relaxed state. This is not obedient sit. If you say sit, you kill the concept. Okay? So it's like if somebody came over and you said make yourself comfortable and relax, most people just have a seat. Right? So it's kind of the same thing, but you're directing them using negative pressure to put them in that sitting position, and you're just like, and you would shorten your leash just a wee bit more, and I want you to grab a good grip on it. Right. Okay. So here, if you did lunge, you're not going to get far.
Yeah.
Right. You're restricting range of motion. You always want to be nice and relaxed, because if you start to do this, you're putting tension on them.
Okay.
That tension can create this, more tension, which then really becomes reactivity. So when you're doing this, you're nice and relaxed because you get what you give. If you're giving relaxation, you should get relaxation back. If you're giving tension, you're going to get that tension back. Okay.
Okay.
So the next thing would be how we hold our leash. So what I would suggest is with your right hand,
Yeah.
you're gonna put your loop over your thumb,
Got it.
and you're gonna close your hand like this. See if you get the other side too. You got little hands. There you
I
go.
know, I passed all now.
With the little plastic hands. So you're gonna close it like. Sorry. This is welcome to dog training with Canine Perspective, everybody. You get dog training and jokes. So this is called the trainer hold. Okay. This locks the leash. Okay. So he can't pull that through your thumb. If he does, you got a bigger problem. The other thing is here with your left hand. What I would do is if you take it like this, and now go like this, and then close. Okay, that's another lock.
I love that.
Okay, so now you have 2 locks.
Okay.
Okay, and I grab it probably below your clip there, so this way you don't cut your scale.
This one?
Below it, yeah. So like for instance, like that. Okay, now close like that. Okay, so now you have a double lock system. Okay, so here if he goes, because when most people hold like this, you get rope burn if the dog lunges. Okay, or the opposite way. Okay, or I'll see people wrap their hands like this. I've had people break fingers that way. Okay, so we don't want to do that. So when we have a nice, good lock like that, we shouldn't have that problem. Okay, this gives you a lot of control. So the more leash he has, the more leverage he has. Sorry, lightly pull up and tap it because you want to, yep, and relax. Good. So like, let's say we're walking, right? And I have my leash like this, so it's nice and slack, because we're walking and I don't see anything happen. But then I step aside and I see a dog, I would shorten now like this. See that?
Yeah.
So then, because you're preparing for it, if he lunges, I'm not going to give him a lot of slack. And then once it's done, you can just reset. Shorten your, give more slack, and now you're walking with a looser leash, okay? So that's going to change. So when we have the space and you don't see any dogs and it's a clear path for you,
Yep.
you want that slack, because if he's here, that tells you like, oh, like he's being very mindful, he's following my lead, okay?
Yeah.
Most people, when you limit the range, they tend to be pulling the dog back, and then I'll have people say like, oh, my dog walks straight, Jesse, and like, show me. They're like this.
Yeah.
Walk, I'm like, let the leash go, your dog's gonna run, right?
Okay.
So if you have a nice slack leash and Wilbur is right here, that tells me he is engaged with you, he is paying attention, okay? But we do the step aside and we shorten it as a precaution, and also to give you more leverage, because the shorter that leash is, the more it empowers you. The longer that leash is, the more it empowers him. Okay, just remember that.
Yes.
So then, questions about that now. So go ahead and you're gonna move forward, so you wanna give slack on that leash. So, like that. There you go, right? And then like if you feel, this is just options for you, is because of those clips, I think it makes you kind of have to grab kind of closer up than you need to. Okay. Right. Here's another thing you can do is this, and then this in your left hand. Yeah, right? And then you close it. So now you have everything. You still have a double lock leash with nice slack here, but now you're free here. Okay? You pick and choose.
I like it.
You like that one? Okay. So yeah, I'm a fan of less clutter in my hands.
Yeah.
So here, that looks like a good length, right? Because if you relax, you still got that J. It's right by that armpit.
Yeah.
So then here, we have nice clear path. We could use that style. Let's say you're in a situation where you're like, oh, I have to walk past this dog and there's no space for me to move.
Okay.
Then I would go to the double grip.
Yeah.
Like you're just changing how you're handling your leash according to what the environment's giving you. Okay. So there's no right or wrong. I don't even think about this stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Like I just go, like I see something, I'm like, oh, okay, and I go, and then once I'm done, like, okay, go back to household before.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and move forward. Watch that. I'll keep it on. And I'm gonna have you stay. Go to right turn here. Yeah. Put your left hand through this and relax. Here. And forward. First, tap. Good, relax. Good. The dog there, the dog there. And I can already put his tail. That's his giveaway. See it?
Yep.
Okay, keep forward. turn. Good. I'm going to slow down and stop. Lightly pull up. Tap. Tap and relax. There you go. That's fine for now. Okay. So there was a second hit that was delayed because you overcompensated. Now forward. See how he's looking here? Well, he was looking. So keep walking. Now watch Wilbur. Yeah, he's looking. He's going to pass right forward. Forward. What's our number now? Now slow walk. So stop. There. See how he sits?
Yeah.
Now he sat in front of you, which is incorrect, but we're going to accept this for now, okay? All I can do is care that he sits, okay? So he should be here, so that we're facing the same way, but he's overcompensating, so he's a little bit more cautious with the higher hits, which is fine. So we're going to do more of that, just back and forth with the heel, okay? Ready to turn. Good. Relax that hand. Good. You're going to keep walking, but slow walk here. Keep walking. Yep. And slower. Keep walking. Now pick it up. Slow again. Slow third. Yep. Your forward. Yep, forward. Good. And you're going to slow to a stop. Pull to your left. Tap. Now, when he does, that's fine. Good. Okay. So, do you see there how you match your pace?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you go really slow, like dogs, like they'll stop because it's so slow, which is fine. What I care about is when he catches up, does he overcompensate?
Yeah.
And if he does, like shoot ahead. He should just right away slow down so he's matching your speed, okay? Otherwise, if you were to forge ahead and keep forging, you would turn, pick up the pace and tap to get him back to your side, okay? So it's really just going opposite to him. He's getting more and more compliant in terms of response to the remote. Yep, so that's really good. I will say that from what I saw earlier with the wood dog, is that you're selling, right?
No, I'm right across the bell.
Oh, really? For some reason I thought you were like Gold Coast area.
Oh, no.
Okay, so, all right, so the neighborhood's kind of like this one in terms of like business and stuff. Because I'll say Gold Coast, Gold Coast area is pretty congested, so you'll be fine. But when you see a dog coming by, don't be surprised if you're going up there, okay, in terms of your range.
Okay.
Because proximity is a big thing too.
Yeah.
Okay, and also once you're in your neighborhood and you're on like an actual walk, because right now you're on a training walk.
Yeah.
You know, on an actual walk you'd be like point A to point B, back to A, very different. But your structure remains the same. You see a dog, you step aside, all those things stay the same. Okay. Now if you step aside and you're becoming reactive and you're going up and you feel like, man, I think this is making it worse, or it's not working, just remember what you did and just keep that leash short and pull straight up.
Okay.
Okay, what people do is they either go back or up and back, which creates more reactivity. You want to go straight up now. Okay. Reinforce it. Like that. Very good. Okay. So up de-escalates. So up paired with remote should get them to settle. But like, let's say that dog is like lunging and barking at him. It's going to be a little bit of a shit show, right? So then, like, I have no problem going like maxing out the collar and stuff, but for the client, like usually they have like, I don't want to screw this up, am I making this worse? If you're not using it. So then I just tell them, don't worry about it. You just kind of file that away. I went as high as 70, whatever, and then you would tell me, and I would like kind of go over the situation with you. And then most of the time I would say, yeah, you just weren't high enough. Okay, so I have a client right now who was on 80, 85. For like 4 or 5 weeks and she was struggling with reactivity and I keep telling her go higher, go higher, go higher. And finally, after like 4 or 5 weeks, she ended up going to 115, but the dog finally stopped.
Yep.
Okay, so it's tough. You do want to be mindful of what we call what's called the redirect or redirected aggression.
Okay.
So if he's lunging and barking, you're having to amp it up, and you're at 100 or something, you might see him snap to bite at the leash or snap at you. Okay, it's not making him aggressive to you.
Yeah.
It's because he's so pissed off that agitation has to go somewhere, and you're the closest thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we do this, so earlier, like I showed you about the shorting the leash, what I do is what I call the up and away, where I'll do this. Yeah, exactly, right? So if you had your leash shorter, where you're at, it's fine. But like earlier when I had you shorten it, and you're doing that, if he goes sideways, he can't reach you, and if he goes upwards, you'd be going up with him, and you go down with him so that it removes you from the situation, okay? I don't think you're gonna see that, but I'd rather you know it and not have to worry about it. Otherwise, if you feel like you don't know what to do in the situation, again, just step back, forget about remote, pull straight up, let it ride, and then once it's done, you would pick back up again. Okay? Questions?
Are you noticing anything else besides like the reactivity
You're good.
to other dogs that like is going on with him?
He's definitely anxious,
Yes.
but it's not like, this isn't terrible anxiety.
Okay.
This is like, for me, like a 3.
Okay.
And the only reason I say that is because he's very concerned about the environment, right? You see how he keeps looking around, okay? Which is, has he ever been here before?
No.
Okay, so new environment, I'm not too worried about that. What I care about is how he progresses during the week. But other than that, I did see when he was taking those hits, when you went up to 50 or so, like, he's a solid dog. Like, he's not big, but he's physically resilient.
Yeah.
Yes, okay? He's been hitting the weights.
Oh, yeah. I can only assume.
Other questions?
I have the other collar that goes off automatically.
The bar collar?
The bar collar. But when he's going into the CRATE.
The crate?
Yeah. Going into the crate, he gets very like shaky.
Sure.
And you were talking a little bit about that reaction, and maybe you could just talk me through that a little bit more. Is there any way that I can help that?
So one thing you can do is have your crate, okay, don't say anything. Have on your leash and set up, remote. You're going to have to grab or choke up higher, closer to that junk leader, because that's going to give you more immediate leverage, okay? So we have what I call directional pressure. So if I'm pulling forward, I want to move forward. If I'm pulling to my left, I want to move to my left, right? That's directional pressure. You have the crate open. If you pull forward, will he resist or does he walk in?
He'll walk in now.
Okay, so what we'll do is you're going to just shorten it. You're going to do no pressure here,
Okay.
but you're going to just start remoting. Okay, and you might see him kind of like do this or whatever, and you just keep tapping and you keep increasing it. I go in bumps of 3 until he goes in on his own. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, I love
sorry.
it. It's okay.
He goes in on his own, and then I wait. He might just walk right out. Right away, you're going to start tapping. Okay, you might have to shorten your leash again, and then maybe a little bit of pressure until he goes back in. Let the leash go slack and see what he does.
Okay.
Okay. So what happens is he goes in. I'm done. He goes out. Okay. And what you're doing is if you try to sneak out, remote goes off.
Yeah.
So then he goes, oh crap. So then he goes back inside. He's like, when I'm in here, that goes away. But when I go outside, that turns on. So then it starts to create a positive association, but using negative pressure.
Yep.
So then he thinks this is my safe zone. Okay, if I'm not in here, remote goes off. Okay, so then once you see he goes in there and he stays in there, I drop the leash, and I would do this if you're going to be in the immediate area, and like step away from it. And like let's say 10 minutes later he tries to sneak out, you would start tapping, pick up the leash, he goes back in, I drop the leash, or we wait for it to settle, then I walk away again. So what you're doing is, by leaving that door open, you're saying, look bud, you have the opportunity to get out. And he tries it, but then remote goes off. He goes, oh crap. I'm like, all right, and he goes back in again. So then what we're doing is we're removing the meaning of the door. It's a mental game. Where it's like, hey, we don't need the door closed to keep you in there. Like now you have to just stay in there mentally. And that may help him to settle quicker. Okay?
That would be beautiful.
That would be the first thing I would try. Okay? So just to reiterate, no pressure, start remoting, increase it. You're probably gonna see some bucking around. Okay, you see that? Then you can apply some direction to help him in.
Okay.
He goes in, you let go, no more tapping. If he tries to run back out again, you start tapping. If he starts, bucking around, a little bit of leash pressure, you got him back in again. You wait a moment and see what he does, right? And then if he holds in there, great. If he holds in there, great. Welcome to Oz.
Wow.
And whenever you decide if he's ready, just drop your leash, but stay within the area. Okay. Don't try to go upstairs or something, because then you're just making your life a lot harder.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 10 minutes later, he tries to sneak out. You start remoting. If he goes in and fixes himself, then you don't do anything. The idea here is, like right now, remember earlier where you had to pull up and tap?
Yeah.
And then right now I just hit tap.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Sit.
Yeah. He put himself in a sitting
Not
position.
supposed to say that.
Yeah. Correct. It's becoming easier. Now things are becoming more at the press of a button. Okay. And the dogs learn very quickly. It's just people baby the fuck out of dogs. Okay. Dogs don't baby each other.
Definitely.
Okay. The world does not baby us. Okay. If the world was how it's supposed to be, right? Sometimes bird nests fall out of the tree and eggs crack and animals eat them. It sucks, but hey, that's how the world works, right? That's how his world works. They don't ease each other into things, okay? So I'm not doing this like meanly. There was no yelling, there was no frustration, there was no anger, right? There was no forcefulness. The remote does all that for us. We're being very direct, okay? And that's why it's a very quick process. If I baby him and baby everybody through the process, then it just makes your life more of a hassle, okay? If we don't support that, okay? Because he's going, hey, like this is stressing me out. I'm not liking this. So if you pet that, you're telling him like that he should respond that way, but he shouldn't. You should just accept it. It's just like go with the flow, okay? So now that kennel exercise, we'll see what we get with that. Now I actually have a dog coming to my facility on Monday that one of my trainers is going to work with. He breaks out of kennels. Okay, so I'm gonna have him film and stuff. So if you're still struggling with that, you can shoot me an email, and then once we get that video up, I can forward that to you. But the main thing is the leash walking stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, this may actually help with the kennel stuff. I don't know for sure, but it's a possibility. Okay, so that's how I'm hoping how it works for you. Otherwise, there's no harm in being proactive with the kennel either. You can start that process as soon as tonight. There's no such thing as too much remote, in my opinion.
Okay.
People don't do enough remote. Okay. So now your homework for the week is going to be, see that dog moving over there? Is going to be reinforcing this leash walking exercise.
Okay.
So what I suggest is when you go out, first start with the potty break.
Yeah.
Let them pee and poop first.
Okay.
Get that out the way.
Yeah.
Okay. We're not going to say heel this week. There's no words involved.
Okay.
With the starting of the command, what you would do is after Wilbur is done, okay, if he's on your left side, you're going to tap and move until he comes in. Okay. And then you walk. Your visual is his right shoulder to your left leg. Okay, so go ahead and walk. He's going to stay put. That's fine. Go ahead and pivot and then take a step back. Oh, you're okay. I'll try to line you guys up. So, forward, to your left. Now, go to slow turn. Slow walk. Come to a stop. Okay. So take one little step forward, right there. Okay. So his right shoulder should be parallel to your left leg. Okay, but he would be facing that way. Okay. He's doing this now because he's being more cautious. He's wanting to have visual of you. Okay. This is not going to be forever, just so you know. Okay. Which is fine. This is how it works. But his right shoulder to your left leg. Okay. That's your visual. So if that right shoulder gets ahead, and I don't care if it's an inch, that's when you're going to want to pivot to do that correctional turn to line him up. Okay? The quicker you can catch him, the better he's going to be. If his right shoulder is like 6 feet ahead of you or 6 inches ahead of you and stuff, you definitely have to turn. Okay? Heel is not about my dog's not pulling that much. Heel is a very strict, specific looking command of your right shoulder to my left leg. Okay? So if he's out of that position, you want to reinforce that. When you come to a stop, Wilbur's job is to put that butt down. You can either reinforce it by pulling up and tapping to put him in it, and if he lays down or stands up, you would want to correct him back into this position. Okay, so it's very strict. There is no gray area here. If you give gray area, you're going to create confusion. Right? When you decide it's time for Wilbur to have a potty break, you would present him to the grass stop. He should stop with you. You're going to wait a moment. Break. That's your word. Break means your job is done.
Okay.
What?
I already know that is hard for us to do when he has to release.
Oh, to release?
Yeah, he looks like a firecracker. Like he's just at the door like, I need to pee, I need to pee, I need to pee.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, all that you can ignore for now. Okay, because remember, you're starting out, you're getting that potty break first. But after you do a walk, like let's say you've had a potty break, you do a 30-minute walk, and you decide I'm going to give you another potty break, then it's a break. So break is now you're done with what we're doing. Okay, now you can keep poop on the ground, the doggy thing, whatever, do a doggy thing. You still can be reactive, so if you're on break and you see dogs approaching, you'll go and just put them into that position, right, and just wait, let it pass, and then break again, and now his job is done. Okay? Questions? Good. Your number is probably, what's up? Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he just moved a little bit. It's not going to be 100% perfect this week. Okay? Like there's going to be some things that I'm going to let go. Otherwise, it's going to be a ton of information for you. For the second class, it's going to be the second half of heel. Okay? This is just the first half. Before you stopped and before you turned when he was paying attention, do you remember what I was having you do? Slow down. Okay? So
I suck at this.
everybody
Everybody,
for the most part does not catch that. Okay? I was telling you slow turn or slow down. Then I would say slow stop.
Okay.
You drive here?
No. We walked for like 15 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay. Do you drive?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do before you stop? What do you do before you turn? Right. So, because that communicates to everybody around you, things are changing, right? Because they don't know what's going on in your head. So when you pump your brakes and you flash your red lights, you're telling people I'm slowing down, right? So when you come to a stop, whoever's behind you can stop with you. Same thing for Wilbur here. Okay, so now it's not just he's not going to predict what's going on in your mind. You have to be communicating. Right now we're going to keep it very simple. Just make sure whenever you're going to stop and whenever you're going to turn, doesn't matter where you're going to turn, but if you're going to turn and he's being mindful, you want to slow down. Okay. Now if Wilbur is ahead of you, there's no point in slowing down. He's not paying attention. You would just pivot off and correct him. Okay. So that's the exception for the slowdown. Is if he's already breaking the rules, you just turn and correct him. The slowing down is only to check if he's paying attention, if he is paying attention, to let him know that we're stopping or to let him know that we're now turning. Okay? Other questions?
No other questions.
If you feel like maybe you're doing this and like you don't have time, like you have to like do something, you're tight on time, is you would cue the word, yep, slow over. That's what you do. Tail's fine. A little bit more shaking. Good, but staring here. Good tap right there. Tap. Tap. There it is. See, so on that third tap, you see where he finally broke away from the dog and now he's looking back, right? So now no tap here. So he does tap. Tap. Right, now he turned the other way. Okay. So, because we're not high enough yet. But, you know, again, oh, another dog coming. Tap, 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 up. No, up on your leash. Tap, 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 and release. Right there. What's your number now?
45.
Okay. So why was that harder for him?
My God, I don't even know what's going on anymore. I'm sorry. Because that dog like reacted to him.
What else? That's one part.
Yeah. And I didn't have a handle on this.
No, you had a handle on it, right? But I'm going to make you think through this one. What else?
They were really close.
Yes, really close. And that lady was kind of walking briskly.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of quicker speed, okay? Those are factors, okay? So that, but one, it took him till the dog was like here before he actually got up, okay? So that's where your threshold was in that moment, okay? So when these things happen, you want to become more aware now because that's just going to let you know what to watch for within the future, okay? That dog was easy because it was 20 feet away, right? And then I saw you preemptively bump the number it looked like. Is that true? Okay. So that was all good. You're like thinking to yourself, closer, probably going to need a higher number, so that was good. When he moved forward, you pulled up, you started tapping. Okay, it was just you wanted. We weren't prepared for that, right? But that's okay. So the reason why that was a little bit harder is because your leash wasn't short, right? So let's say your leash was short. Where would he have gotten? Nowhere, right? Because you limited that range of motion. Okay, so it's just it's a lot of stuff for first class.
I have a headache. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a first for me.
I mean, if you're not used to it, you drilling somebody is like, it can be stressful. So like stress can create a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
We'll bring some Tylenol next time for you to take before the class.
For sure.
Okay, let's go and correct here. Right? Good. And what's your number at now?
45.
45, right? And you saw he's taking it like a champ?
Yeah.
He took that hit, sat down, but look at his brain. He's still like looking at what's going on over there. Okay? So I think this is going to be a good learning week for you. But I think we have a really good foundation down.
Perfect.
Nothing out the ordinary. I don't see anything of concern from what I've seen here. This seems like the standard. Yeah, this seems like a standard. Because he had full opportunity there to like go straight from 0 to 10. And he went like 0 to 4. Okay? So that's one thing, you know, I don't think you have to worry about. But otherwise, I think all that was really good. Okay? Now, are you wanting to socialize this guy too? I can't remember. Correct. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Good job. Yep. 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 And then what you'll do here to make your life easier is just go ahead and pull like this. Yeah. Pull. Tap. 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 Going to grab a little bit closer to where his collar. Yeah, yeah, right there. This. Sorry. Yeah. Tap. 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 There he goes. Now up. Tap. Wait a moment. Tap. Relax. Tap. Right there. Now relax. Good. So you see how grabbing closer gave you more physical leverage there? Okay. So that's why I do that whenever I need to give more directional pressure.
What was that jump?
Comfort seeking.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Then you just correct it.
He loves me. What can I say?
Oh, another dog. There you go. So, because we started a socialization on my Facebook, business Facebook. We have I call it a pack community, and it's other clients that have reactive dogs that they want to socialize and work on things with. So if you'd like the link to that, I can email that to you.
I would love that. Yes.
And then whenever, like, I'll be socializing other clients' dogs. Everybody and anybody's welcome. So it's like a free class.
Okay.
You can come out and just like work on stuff. Okay. Anything else?
No.
So I think you have enough homework for today.
I think so.
I'll let you and your headache go home.
Okay.
But if you have any questions, email is best.
Perfect.
Okay.
I know, poor Maria, I kept calling her. I was like,
oh, when I was running late?
No, not that, but like through the...
Yep. Yep. Now up. Yep. Look, that's what he's looking at over there. That little dog. Yep. Yep. Now, yeah, there you go. Now, there you go. Good. So Maria, you contacted for any scheduling stuff?
Yeah.
Accounting stuff? For me, I'm all the training stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I felt so bad. I kept calling her and asking about the schedule and stuff.
Yeah, that's her job.
Okay.
Yeah, don't call me about that.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, any training questions you can contact me about.
Okay.
And then if you have to cancel or reschedule something, you go through Maria.
No, we're committed, man.
Anything else?
No.
All right, good job. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
And if you need anything else, you let us know. For the third class, if everything is going well behaviorally, you want a long leash. 30 foot is the perfect, length.
Okay.
So because we will start called stuff.
Okay, 30 feet? Okay.
Yeah. Right, yep. Yep. There you go, yep. Yep. Yep, yep, yep. Good job, yep. There you go, good. So the more he does that, the better.
Okay.
Because you're not letting him get away with whatever it is that he's doing. see how he's puffing? Because you got like 5 dogs over there, and you got this little wing dog over here. Okay,
I've
so
never seen him react to like tiny dogs, really. Like that tiny, so it's good to know.
so good job for today.
Okay.
Anything else, let us know.
Perfect.
Otherwise, see you in a week.
Okay.
Okay, and then dress warm.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.